When the Chena River surged and overflowed its banks in 1967, it flooded large parts of Fairbanks, Alaska. The solution, by the Army Corps of Engineers, was the Moose Creek Dam and a levee along 12 miles of the Tanana River. In its mammoth scale, it is a vivid example of the engineering mindset that seeks to fortify barriers to, rather than complementing and integrating, the local ecology, especially its hydrology or water network. But the Army Corps approach is not the only choice. Vernacular implies rootedness and abode, and sustenance derived from reciprocity patterns embedded in our shared community life. The picture, throughout human history, is that ecosystem wisdom expresses itself through the vernacular by the ways that people act collectively and daily in response to the opportunities and constraints provided by their local ecosystems. How can we shift from a worldview of more and bigger to one of bioregional limits and balance? The inviting possibilities of a vernacular vocabulary can bring a place-located perspective to community design and modern tools. A vibrant tool are human scale and appropriate technology embedded in watershed awareness. Green infrastructures are living examples of both human scale and appropriate technology as they have become a viable alternative to conventional stormwater management. It accomplishes this with a basic premise: imitate natural systems in the wider context of watersheds and bioregions. Why watershed? Because the size and natural organization of a watershed corresponds to people living there as natives, not as occupants. Watershed, it makes sense. A specific geographical area to know intimately and identify with, given character by the drainage basins of streams, creeks, and rivers. All moving water, held together and animated by sunlight, plants, animals, nutrients, and minerals, blending into ongoing ecological processes, and each blend is one of a kind. Marry sun and water in the home of landform, and the offspring is watershed. The sensuous body of the human species is intimate with the local ecology, and that is the way it has always been. Our species' senses and intellect allow us a unique view into the natural order. This includes living and seeing up close the effects of human activities on the entire life community. If the water upstream is spoiled by polluted stormwater runoff, everyone, your family, the beaver, the bacteria in the soil, will be tainted by it. Green infrastructure is best applied as an appropriate technology. We can understand this possibility beginning with E.F. Schumacher's small is beautiful approach to technology use. First is the subordination of tools to human purposes and is a means to personal and communal ends. Green infrastructure accomplishes this by aligning community health with local control. Second are access to softer, smaller tools under the control of users instead of oversized and centralized ones. Most green infrastructure choices, like rain gardens and vegetated swales, can be built and cared for by members of the community. Third is keeping the consequences of technology use as tangible as possible. Creating a robust constellation of green infrastructure can replace the more massive and distant solutions. The results are direct and visible: less flooding and better water quality. Green infrastructures are ecologically grounded landscape choices which can epitomize human scale and appropriate technology. Examples from the Hudson Valley help illustrate this. Rain gardens are shallow vegetated basins that slow down small volumes of stormwater so it can be soil filtered and cleansed before entering underlying groundwater. Rain gardens are a versatile choice for almost any unpaved space, and are ideal for community members to design and plant together. Bioretention areas are a close cousin to rain gardens, but are usually larger and designed with a connection to the storm drain system. They share an elementary and trustworthy approach. Reduce paved-over areas and then allow rainwater to enter soil slowly, as it normally would. An alternative to underground storm sewers or open concrete channels, bioswales are natural vegetated channels that provide treatment as they move stormwater from one place to another. Long and rectangular, they work well along streets and parking lots. Especially so in unison with bioretention areas and permeable pavements that can replace the impervious surfaces of large parking lots. Green infrastructures can also be expressed as public art that reclaims problem stormwater runoff while also creating a desirable living green space. Some thoughts in this regard, with examples from Seattle. First, integrate stormwater into the landscape in an ecologically useful manner. For example, biofiltration, irrigation for gardening, and landscaping. Second, green spaces are not just green in color. They are green politically, ecologically, and socially. There can be a convivial harmony between communities and the natural order of scales they reside within. Reinhabitation renews and maintains ecosystem health by aligning basic human needs with indigenous ecosystems. Well-designed green infrastructures accomplish this by reducing stormwater runoff and integrating them into native watershed processes. As importantly, green infrastructures encourage local participation in their creation and care. Why? Because who better understands the subtleties of watersheds and the importance of their health than the people who live there? Green infrastructure can become important everyday activities anchoring place identity as a type of kinship that humans make with landscapes they are a part of. The result? The well-being of the human and the non-human are fused into one understanding of community.